Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has Main Street Station with a floral Mickey and the E.P. Ripley pulling into the station. At the bottom you can see guests looking at posters for the Golden Horseshoe Review, the Art Corner, America the Beautiful, and the Submarines. On the back it reads, guests entering the Magic Kingdom are greeted by a floral Mickey Mouse and the Santa Fe and Disneyland Depot, where a scaled-down model of a passenger train of another era puffs out of the station to take them on a scenic tour of Disneyland. It's postmarked July 11, 1961, with a Los Angeles cancel and a 3-cent purple Liberty postage stamp, Scott number 1035. I assume they visited the park on Monday, July 10, 1961, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 80 and a low of 65. Park attendance that day was 25,826. It's addressed to Mrs. Eunice Baker of Indianapolis, Indiana. It reads, July 11, 61. Dear Eunice, may be home before you receive this card. We are going to Las Vegas tomorrow, then home by Saturday night. Madeline. The first stop on our tour is the mailbox on the right-hand side to the entrance of Main Street from the entrance of Disneyland. Some things I notice around this area. First is the fence and the entrance and exit of Disneyland. Not much has changed in the location of the entrance turnstiles, but from 1955 until the mid-70s, the fence around the entrance of the park was just a chain-link fence between the turnstiles and the edge of the berm and the newsstands. In a 1968 photo, you can see a green iron gate in the same style as the green iron fence around the floral Mickey. This is similar to what we have today, but at that point, it was just between the newsstands and the first set of exit turnstiles. 1968 also began the removal of the attraction posters, which were to the left and right of the floral Mickey Mouse on the fence. Each side had 15 frame posters. This is in addition to the 8 attraction posters to the right and left tunnels as you walked into Main Street. Some 1968 photos suggest that only 2 posters and frames, one on each side, remained on the fence closest to the mailboxes. In 1980, the area in front of the floral Mickey was redone with new turnstiles. This was when the entrance could have been pushed out a bit. Looking at vintage photos, it's probably nothing significant, judging where the monorail pillars are in the esplanade and their distance to the main gates. The green iron fencing was extended around the new entrance and turnstiles with a large gate in the middle. The gate would be covered with promotional structures like the Gift Giver countdown clock for the 30-year anniversary. The countdown clock would be replaced with a banner reading, Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, in 1986. They also added a Mickey Mouse figure playing a marching band bass drum. Now we can continue our tour down Main Street, USA, and to the next mailbox. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has a flower mart on West Center Street. On the right, you can see guests sitting at Carnation and enjoying an ice cream. And in the back, you can see the signs for the restrooms. On the back it reads, Flower Mart. One of the loveliest and most photographed spots in Disneyland is the beautiful Flower Mart on Main Street, where guests may enjoy the world's finest natural flowers not grown by nature. It's postmarked April 25, 1966, with a San Diego Public Schools We Visit Your School cancel and a 5-cent black and white George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visit the park on Sunday, April 24, 1966, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 83 and a low of 52. Park attendance that day was 18,685. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. K. Hagopian of Fresno, California. It reads, Dear Mom and Pop, we are having a real nice time, and the weather is good. We're going to Mexico for one day, then back to Disneyland for a few days. See you soon. Love, Jack and Louise. This intersection, now known for being the first spot for coffee and the street that has the lockers, was a unique performance space in the 1960s. At this mailbox, let's look at the Center Street history, from the shops and restaurants to the design and cultural celebrations. East Center Street, the side of the street the mailbox is facing, began as a simple dead-end street in the early years of the park. Although plans included expanding Main Street, looking at a fun map from the 1960s, East Center Street would not have been affected. But who knows what might have happened with International Street, Liberty Street, and Edison Square. The shop you're standing next to, which now sells clothes and accessories, was the Gibson Greeting Card Store. And after that, the Hallmark Communication Store, selling various greeting cards. Looking down the street, now filled with tables and chairs, plus a fruit cart and a flower archway, it was hard to imagine that this street was a performance space. In 1963, a 3-month Salute to Mexico filled the street. Depending on the day, you might see a mariachi band or dancers in traditional dresses. There were also arts and crafts like pottery, jewelry, and art from Mexico available for purchase. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held, along with a closing ceremony at the end of the 3-month run. Another performance, which was held on East Center Street, was the Volunteer Firemen's Parade and Street Dance. I can only find one photo of the dance, but looking at the costumes and the number of performers, I assume that it may have gone on for an entire weekend of performances. East Center Street was also used for an art festival. The festival mostly consisted of cast members who had the talent for pastel portraits of guests, just like what we have today in New Orleans Square, although in 1963, a profile drawing in pastels would only cost you $1.50. Finally, East Center Street was the home of the Flower Mart from 1977 to 1985. Speaking of the Flower Mart, West Center Street, which is directly across Main Street from East Center Street, was the original location of the Flower Mart. Now when you look over, it's Carnation Cafe's outdoor dining. Before the Flower Mart was there, guests could escape Main Street down West Center Street to use the restrooms at the end of the cul-de-sac. Another feature before and during the Flower Mart's residence on West Center Street was the Carnation ice cream truck, which was a popular photo spot on Main Street. I have many photos of guests sitting in the driver's seat of the truck, which would deliver ice cream around the park first thing in the morning. The Flower Mart, or Flower Market, filled West Center Street from 1957 through 1977, selling artificial flowers to guests, and was another popular photo spot. During the time there were also tables and chairs next to the Flower Mart, because at the time the Carnation Cafe was only a Carnation ice cream parlor, selling scoops of ice cream, and was not a sit-down restaurant as it is today. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming mail has a gray ghost background paper with a sparkly Mickey Mouse ghost, and underneath, in orange lettering, it reads Clocky. It's postmarked October 24th, 2025, with a Phoenix, Arizona, Eagle 1775-2025 cancel, and a jack-o'-lantern forever postage stamp, Scott number 5137. It reads, October 2025. Clocky, have a magical Halloween. Take care, Timothy. Thank you so much for the postcard, Tim. Tim is a friend from the Art Throwdown, and this card was handmade by him. Such a fun card to receive in the mail after all of my work travel. I had a full mailbox of post-crossing postcards and this wonderful piece of art. The glittery Mickey ghost with its black ears poking out at the top is super cute. This is just another great reminder to pick a fun holiday to send some greeting cards and surprise your friends. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.